What's up? What's up? What's up? It's your man Chris Jones, Novacaine Kennels. Okay, dog stuff. So recently, a lot of people have been listening to the things that I say, and one of the things that a lot of people have been going into, they've been trying to broaden their spectrum on raw food items, things they can and cannot feed, and you know, how to go about raw feeding, and just like been taking some notes but haven't been taking complete notes, right? So today I was hit up by two people. Both people said that they heard me talk about pigtails and how dogs can consume pigtails, that it's a great source of bone, it's a great source of meat, not much, Don, it's a great source of fat, almost a complete meal just out of one pigtail. But what they missed was this very, very, very important part. When you get pigtails from the store, make sure they are not salted. You cannot give your dogs salt. A lot of people ran to the store. They said they saw two different pigtails. They went with the ones that were a little cheaper. Got home, fed it to their dogs. Noticed their dogs were throwing up all over the place. Because the cheaper ones at the store are salted. So when you feed pigtails to your dogs, make sure they are unsalted pigtails. And that brings me on to another point real quick. I noticed that a lot of people say, yo, I don't eat pork, so I'm not feeding pork to my dogs. My response to that is, are you crazy? Why aren't you feeding a cheap food source to your animals? Pork can be found everywhere. Pork is fairly cheap everywhere. So why not utilize that? Let me explain this. You have a 50-pound dog. That 50-pound dog only needs 1 pound of food, of raw food a day to thrive. 1 pound, 50-pound dog. You can go to the store and you can find picnic hams or pork shoulders for 10 to 15 bucks. Generally running about 7 to 10 pounds for 10 to 15 bucks. So if you take that 10 to 15 bucks, 7 to 10 pounds of food, you can feed your dog for 7 to 10 days off of 1 pork shoulder. But that's not the only part with it. You also are going to get a bone. That big old picnic ham bone that comes in the middle of there, give that to your dog. Give it to him raw. That's a great chew toy for your animal. That's a great calcium source for your animal. That's great fat inside of that bone, which is the marrow for your animals. So why not feed your animals something that you may not eat, but it is cheap enough to go out and get a bunch of it for your animal? I never understand the point where people say, well, I don't touch certain things, so I'm not going to put that inside of my dog. It's no. You got to remember, this is an animal. You're not feeding yourself. The way the animal's body is going to react to that protein or that fat is totally different from the way your body is going to react to that protein or that fat. I understand that some people eat pork, they get sluggish, they get tired, it raises their blood pressure, but that's not the same case when it comes to dogs. Why isn't that the same case when it comes to dogs? Because when you're feeding your dog that raw food, you're not adding salt onto it. You're not putting seasonings onto it, which is something that already is going to raise the blood pressure, which is that pork. So take that piece of pork that you can find extremely cheap, chop it up, and feed your dogs for 4 to 5 days off it, or 5 to 10. It depends on the size of pork. But remember this, a picnic ham, 7 to 10 pounds, 10 to 15 bucks, 50-pound dog, 1 pound a day. 1 pound a day. Do the math. You would save more money by feeding that animal a natural diet. You would save more money by using pieces of protein sources. Pork, and then what's the other one? People said they don't eat fish, so they're not feeding that to their dog. Why aren't you feeding your dog fish? Fish is one of those things that I feel a raw-fed dog must have. Why must they have it? Because fish is high in oils. Atlantic mackerel. Great source of oils for omega-3s, 6s, and 9s. Which means you feed that Atlantic mackerel to your dog, you're doing a few different things. The first thing you're doing is you're putting a good nutritional piece of meat inside of your dog's system. The second thing you're doing, you're giving your dog glucosamine naturally because of the bone inside of fish. But the most important thing that you're doing, when that dog consumes the entire fish, the scales of a fish is great, free and natural biotin. Now, what is biotin? Biotin helps your hair grow. Biotin helps your hair to stay shiny. Biotin helps with volume. So why not put that into your dog? You got to remember, Atlantic mackerel, they eat a lot of smaller prey, but those smaller prey also eats plankton. So you put all of that slam into your dog's system. You're giving your dog so many nutrients without really realizing that's exactly what you're doing. So my suggestion for a lot of people for 2018, get out of your comfort zone when it comes to feeding your dog a natural diet. Get all the way out of your comfort zone. Start to feed your animals properly. Reach out and start to use pork. Reach out, start to use fish. Use goat, use rabbit, use duck, use all types of different protein sources, because the most important key to doing raw food is variety. It's variety, not making sure that you get a certain type of food from one company or the other. It's the variety that makes raw food right. It's your man Chris Jones, Novacaine Kennels. If you have any questions about raw food, should you feed your dog this? How much your dog should be fed of this? Where can you get certain things from? And I'm going to give you that part right now. Where can you get certain things from? Listen carefully, because a lot of people still seem to be very scared of this. Go into your international markets. When you go into your international markets, you will find organs that you won't find at your normal stores. You will find certain cuts of meats that you will not find at your normal stores. You will find different varieties of protein sources that you will not find at your normal store, unless you have the hookup. And certain sources, like I do, I have the ability to go straight to the wharf to get my fish when it comes in. I have the ability to go straight to farmers in order to feed my animals variety. But if you don't have that ability, utilize your international store. Utilize that international store. But make sure that your dog gets protein, gets meat, gets bones, gets organs, get some vegetable matter in there. I don't get why people say dogs don't need vegetable matter. Yes, the hell they do. Because your dog will not get all the trace minerals and stuff that they need out of just eating protein and bone. You have to put that stuff in there so you make sure your dog has a balanced diet. But still, on top of that, I always say this too, and I use it myself every other day. My dogs get a simple multivitamin. A simple multivitamin. We go to Walmart, we get ProSense compared to Bully Max, compared to Petco, Puppy Brand, same damn thing. The only difference is Walmart is cheaper. That's the only difference. So utilize the protein sources. If you're scared of eating pork yourself, don't be scared to feed that pork to your dog. That's a cheap cut of meat that you can get a lot of fairly cheap. Feed that damn dog. Feed that dog. Also, make sure you get fish into your dog's diet. Why is fish so important? You want the oils to make sure that your dog's fur stays nice. But on top of that all, fish also helps with dogs' eyesight. Fish always helps with dogs' metabolism. Fish also helps filter out the liver and kidneys of dogs. Get out of your comfort zone. 2018, out of your comfort zone. Feed those protein sources you may not eat to your animals. Pork, fish, and some of those other weird things that some people say, yo, I can't do it. My dogs eat alpaca. My dogs will eat some horse meat. I found a place in the United States to get horse meat. My dogs have already eaten camel. My dogs have already eaten kangaroo. My dogs have eaten alligator, iguana. My dogs have eaten pheasant. My dogs have eaten all types of stuff. Variety is key. What's the best type of fish? There's not one specific best type of fish. Let me cut this down real quick. There's not one specific type of fish that is the best. These are the fish that I typically stay with. The fish that we use a lot in the Novocaine Kennels blend is called capelin. Capelin is a small fish that lives deep in the waters, right off the coast of the Norwegian waters. They eat 99% plankton. So we get those for them. But those are pretty hard to find. If you need to find something that you can get at any store, really, get Atlantic mackerel. The reason I say get Atlantic mackerel is because that Atlantic mackerel, the Atlantic mackerel is a deep cold water fish. You don't want to get warm water fish. Warm water fish are known to carry a parasite that if it's infected by a secondary parasite, it can infect and actually kill your dog. So stick with cold water fish. Atlantic mackerel. Sardines. I would say sardines if you freeze them for a week. Atlantic mackerel. We even feed cod. We don't do cod oil because cod oil is actually rendered down to make a bottled oil. If you're going to do cod, just do fresh cod. Give them cod. Give them the eyes. Give them the head. Give them the fins. Give them the tail. Give them the guts. Give them the scales. Give them the entire fish. Because that's what they need in order for it to be complete. No doubt. So 2018, let's get out of our comfort zone. If you don't eat pork for yourself, get that pork and feed it to your dogs. Remember this key point. You can get a picnic ham, a 8 to 10 pound picnic ham for 8 to 15 bucks. If you have a 50-pound dog, that means you're feeding your dog off that picnic ham for 8 to 10 days. Because a 50-pound dog only needs 1 pound of raw food. It's your man Chris Jones, Novocaine Kennels. Any other question, hit me up. This is going to be very quick and very educational all year long. We're going to do a lot of promoting on our products. We're going to do a lot of promoting on our dog treats. We're going to do a lot of promoting just on the Novocaine Kennel Style American Bully. Because I have to call it the Novocaine Kennel Style American Bully. Because we believe our bully should work, and that's what we're going to keep them at. Much love, much respect. I'll talk to y'all later.